Hi, YouTube. My podcast did not podcast for me. And I had the feeling too. I thought, why am I still seeing myself? And I had put up that if Weast can't fix it, no one can t shirt for my thumbnail. Now I have to figure out how to add to that and do things. I have no clue. I still am going to be setting up my camera one of these days, but I figured I'd get back on here and talk a little more about what I was talking about, what it feels like for me to have four granddaughters that I don't want to fall into confusion. I've told people the ramifications, the health ramifications of same sex intercourse and the demonology of the whole thing with the transfers of the incubus and succubus and the DNA transfers and the sympathy for the devil type of thing. And whether or not you can get what I'm saying, I know what I'm saying for me is right. And for my children is right because I've watched my children be raped and have to go through things like I've gone through. And so to be passive about something that is going to cause people harm isn't something that I can just sit by and do. If that's for you, if you can ignore that, that's okay. That's for you. I'm not. I will not be doing that ever. Not ever, ever. So, and to think just because with the Noahide laws that you would promote by being, and I'm talking to an attorney friend, by being an attorney and part of the government in that arena and approving of what these people actually truly do believe is not just when a little girl menstruates. And yes, that mental condition you spoke about is a very big deal. There's a lot of 30-year-olds that don't have the mental condition to give birth and care for a child. And obviously, the care part could extend into grandparenthood if you don't know what you're talking about. So, since I do know what I'm talking about biologically, and I'm not talking about the genders here, I'm talking about the science behind the ramifications of what I'm talking about. Now, just because I've never had feelings towards the same sex, I guess that would exclude me from your group, but so be it. That's who I am. I consider myself a natural, real woman, how God made me. And that is how I'm going to raise my grandchildren. And I don't raise them. That's how I am going to try and pass on my feelings towards my family members. But for somebody else to get out there and say, well, there's nothing wrong with it, and you won't go into the science of the whole thing. You won't examine what I've told you. You won't dig into the medical journals like I have, or even watch the videos that I have reading out of the medical journals. But you're good at talking about shit you don't know about. And that's it right there. And why you're doing that is because you have friends that you're going to benefit from. And everybody's going to love you, good time Charlie, and the grandma that wants to teach her granddaughters the right way, right? So this grandma here is battling the whole fucking world because you don't give a damn. And who's going to help me? That's what I want to know. Who's going to stand up there and say, well, you know what? This is what makes a family. And we do have to protect what is sacred. Marriage is sacred. Same sex couples can call it a union and still benefit from being together with their taxes and everything else. Why do you have to come in what is put under God, a union between a man and a woman, and filthy it all up with your crud. Your butt fucking muffin diving crud. And now, okay, maybe I just lost somebody that I thought was a friend, but when you start yelling at me for my beliefs, because I don't believe the same way as you, get off your high horse, because if you were in my face, I'd jack your shit with that. In fact, you wouldn't be yelling at me in my face. That's a fact. You might think you would, but I'm telling you, you would not. So I'm going to stand firm on my beliefs, and the words that just came out of my mouth that weren't so very nice. Probably expect to hear more of that because I'm not backing down. And you got me to this point. Now it may just get worse. That's on you. And whether or not you ever listen to me again, that's on you too. I don't care about that. If you don't want to hear the voice of reason and the reason for my voice, and I'm standing up what God tells me in my heart. If you don't have that in yours, well, then this is obviously our impasse, isn't it? Like the broad road there, or the narrow path. Yeah, well, obviously you can tell what path I'm on, right? And it's not a crowded place. So I'm going to get this uploaded, and I might go live in a little while later on or whatever. I'll just have to see. But I just want to make it very clear where I stand and why I stand there. And I wasn't getting angry till you started getting angry with me. And I'm about to get pissed, and you aren't going to like that at all, because if you think your angry is angry, I can tell you my pissed might even sound quiet, but you'll feel it, you know, because I can't control the energy that gets out in the ether, Mr. Kabbalist. So just know that, and you know that's a fact too. You can pretend that I don't have that in the ether, but we all know that I do. So I'm going to sign out with that. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. Have a good night or day wherever you're at.